The Halloween franchise is a great franchise. It's my favorite, but it definitely ain't perfect. So we're gonna list the top 10 biggest mistakes of the Halloween franchise. Let's go. What's up, guys? It's time for a fun top 10. And I posted this thing on Killer Flicks. Post your like biggest horror mistakes. And a lot of the answers were from the Halloween franchise. So it got me thinking, because I was originally just going to do a top 10 of just like all of horror. But then I thought, you know what? There's so many in the Halloween franchise that I might as well just do one for this specific franchise. So these are going to be fun, and I'm sure I'm going to miss a lot. So go down in the comments and let me know some other ones that I missed from this franchise, because there's a lot of mistakes that were made in this franchise. And don't pay too much attention to the like order of these. Definitely number 1 is going to be a big doozy. But number 10 is the continuity errors in the franchise. Now, horror franchises, they're all guilty of this. But I think the Halloween franchise is the most guilty. There are so many different timelines in this franchise. And really it all started with H2O. You know, before H2O, the continuity was pretty straightforward. You know, up to 6. And then when they made H2O, they wanted to ignore the whole Thorn trilogy. And you can see why they did that, but then after they did that in Resurrection was just a pure stink bomb of a movie. And then they rebooted it, and now you go back and there's just, like I said, there's so many different timelines. And it's confusing, especially to new audiences. Number 9, to me this is a big one. And I think it's just a lesson learned, but in Rob Zombie's Halloween, he wanted to explain Michael Myers' backstory. And I think the lesson learned from that is you don't do that. Because what makes Myers so scary is not knowing his backstory. That he was just this clean-cut little 6-year-old kid from a good neighborhood, and just one day he kills his sister out of the blue. And it's chilling, and it doesn't hurt to have John Carpenter directing that. But Rob Zombie wanted to give this whole serial killer backstory, and I was gonna make the white trash element another entry in this, but you know what, I'll just mix the two together to give you a little bit more.
Bitch, I will crawl over there and I will skull fuck the shit out of you.
I hated that Michael Myers' parents were just complete white trash. That was one thing that really ruined the first Rob Zombie's Halloween for me. I think he tapered it back quite a bit in Rob Zombie's Halloween 2. But never tell Michael Myers' backstory. Number 8, Tina. And there's a lot of people that like Tina now. She's kind of gained a little bit of a cult following. She's a different type of character, and I like different type of characters. She's really spunky, but I think the big thing with Tina is she's really, really annoying. And there's so many moments in Halloween 5 that every time she's on screen, you just want to throw things. You know, with the bumpa-ba-da and all that stuff, it's just, this was just a really excruciating character to deal with on screen. And for her to go into the last act of the movie with Jamie was a crime. And you know what, really making Jamie a mute in the movie is a crime. And I didn't include that on the list, not following through with that Halloween 4 ending, because really, at the end of the day, I didn't want Jamie Lloyd to be the new killer in the new movie. That's why I left that off. But I think they could have done better with her character than making her a mute. Number 7 is H2O, and it's really, I guess, Resurrection's fault, but that not being Myers at the end of the movie. The guy that gets his head chopped off at the end of H2O should have been Michael Myers. They should have capped it off with that, started anew after. But instead, we find out in Resurrection that it's not Myers, and it was really stupid and heartbreaking. Like, why would you do that? Why would you ruin this phenomenal last act? Because I have my major issues with H2O, but what it does get right, it really nails, and that last act is actually really good. Could have been a little bit longer, I think, but it was still really good. Number 6 is bringing Laurie Strode back, not once, but twice. She had her chance in Halloween 1 and 2. We bring her back for H2O. Okay, it's cool. I still kind of have a thorn in my side about them completely ignoring Jamie Lloyd and not including Jamie Lloyd in this new timeline, because I've often said I love that character Jamie Lloyd so much that it would be awesome to see her and Danielle be sharing the frame together. That would be amazing. bringing her back again for Halloween 2018, I get it. It's going to put butts in the seats. It's going to get a bigger budget. It's going to make money. So who am I to have this problem? This is really just a personal issue that I have. I'm done with Laurie Strode. And then that goes to my number 5, which is Laurie Strode not dying in Halloween 2018, which is another frustrating thing. And I think maybe they did that because in Resurrection they killed her, so they don't want to like repeat themselves. But at this point, I'm sick of Laurie Strode, and I don't want to see her in Halloween Kills that much. She did kick ass in the movie. I will give her that. She was not a problem in Halloween 2018. But I just don't like that she's still around. You know, she's on borrowed time at this point. And like I said, one man's opinion. But I've never been like a Laurie Strode fanatic. You know, a lot of people think that I think Laurie Strode's like my favorite Final Girl. Not at all, really. Amy Steele's my favorite Final Girl. You know, there's a lot of different variables that you can play with, but Laurie Strode to me is just an average Final Girl. Number 4 is going to be Halloween 3 having no Michael Myers. I love Halloween 3. Don't get me wrong. That movie is one of my favorites in the franchise, but it's a mistake to call it Halloween 3 unless you're doing that anthology thing, you know, where Halloween 2 didn't exist and then every Halloween movie is just a completely different story. But because when it came out, we already had these 2 movies with Michael Myers, then it presented a big problem for fans. A lot of fans wanted more Michael Myers. So it was just a major mistake for the studio to actually make this movie and not have Myers in it. Number 3 is one that still hurts me to this day, killing off Rachel Carruthers in Halloween 5. Just because Rachel is one of my favorite, I prefer Rachel Carruthers over Laurie Strode, hands down. I think she's such a great Final Girl. She represents everything you want in a Final Girl. She's willing to give her life to save Jamie Lloyd. She's resourceful. She fights back. And to take a character that's that great and in the next movie just completely, pretty much spit on her, that's what they did. Kill her in the first act was such a shame. I think she should have lived to the end of the movie and she should have gave her life for Jamie Lloyd. That would have been a fitting ending for that character. But instead, we have to spend the rest of the movie with annoying Tina. Number 2, and this is a big one that a lot of people will agree with, is recasting Jamie Lloyd from Danielle Harris to J.C. Brandy. And you know what? Nothing against J.C. Brandy. She gave it her all. She did the best she could. But to step in those shoes and play the iconic Jamie Lloyd, Danielle Harris, that is her character. You do not mess with that unless she doesn't want to play the character. But it's obvious that Danielle Harris loves the franchise. She loves the character. She wanted to come back. But then when she came back, they were really treating her pretty badly. So they ended up casting J.C. Brandy and they kill off Jamie Lloyd in the first act of the movie. So a lot of mistakes made there. I love Halloween 6. Don't get me wrong. It is one of my favorite movies in the franchise for so many reasons. I've reviewed the movie, I think, 3 times now. I'm not proud of it, but I still hate that Danielle Harris wasn't in that movie. But she's often said that, like, what if she was in that movie and then because of that they didn't recast her in Rob Zombie's? But what if they didn't cast her in Rob Zombie's movie and that would have gotten her in Halloween 2018? You know, you could ponder this stuff all day. I forgot one, and I just finished a run, and I figured I'll go ahead and just record it real quick. I cannot believe I forgot to include this, and this belongs up there like number 1. The roundhouse kick to Michael Myers by Busta Rhymes. You gotta be kidding me. That is the biggest, like literally when I saw that in the theater, I got up, I threw my popcorn at the person sitting next to me, and I walked out of the theater. I didn't even apologize. It was that bad. I can't believe I forgot to put that on here, but yeah, it has to go on this list. So you're getting 11 instead of 10. So there you go. And then the number 1, this is definitely my biggest gripe, is making Michael Myers talk in the director's cut of Rob Zombie's Halloween 2 at the end, the adult Myers. I can stomach a little bit the child Myers talking before he kills, but he even talks after he kills in Rob Zombie's first Halloween. When he says die at the end of Rob Zombie's Halloween 2.
Michael, for God in heaven, die! Oh!
And I believe, like, people would ask Rob Zombie, are you gonna make Myers talk this time? and he didn't really answer the question. So he knew going into this that that would be a huge mistake. You don't mess with a property like that and make him talk. Myers does not talk. That's part of his mystique. It's part of what makes him scary. He should have known better. So that's my top 10 biggest mistakes of the Halloween franchise. Let me know in the comments your biggest mistakes. Looking forward to hearing them. And I might try this with some of the other franchises as well. So let me know in the comments what franchise you'd like me to do next. Anyway, guys, be sure to come over to Killer Flicks, where we talk horror all day and every day. And on Fridays, we do Free Fall Fridays. Follow me at Drumdums on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and Letterboxd. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. Have a great day, and Drumdum out.